Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Let's get started. I hope everyone enjoyed your lunch. Full bellies, happy hearts, and ready to move on to our next topic. Next, we have Jeff that's going to be speaking about from ad to sales, meaningful media attention. Jeff recently got promoted as president of I-Square Inc. in the US. So round of applause. Congratulations, Jeff. He also, back in 23, won the ARF Great Minds Award for Innovation. So congratulations for that as well. And he used to be a former wrestler. Welcome, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
It is not the fake stuff, the real stuff. At the University of Georgia at 118 pounds, which was a little lighter than I am right now. We're going to talk about meaningful attention. The company's spending a lot of focus on this. And the idea here is to have some fun and get some really good insights and tools. When we say attention is not enough, you can get attention a lot of different ways. If I go like this, chances are I have attention. It's not that meaningful. So we're going to talk about brief introduction on meaningful attention, the difference between attention and meaningful attention, some examples, talk about change. We've heard some great presentations about what's changing. Some of the things that we saw, like with Michael, no one's ever seen before, and we don't know what's going to be coming next, but something's going to be different. And there's always change, and it's moving faster and faster. And that's why companies like ARF, who I think does a phenomenal job of really taking the industry and getting the information needed to help all sides, the researchers and the brands. Then we're going to talk about the challenges in measuring attention and what's meaningful. And then we'll just do a brief little case study and we'll do Q&A. So the goal of identifying attention, is it important, focused, and some of the stuff we've heard from forum, so I might go a little quick on some of these. Purposeful, process deeply, is effective. If you have attention and there's no engagement, it's not going to be that meaningful. Deep process of the stimuli, better comprehension, retention. What I'm going to focus on, because when it talks about meaningful attention, it depends on what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about business, because this is the business to help brands be successful and help them get insights so that they know that not just what's attention, but what's meaningful. And when it comes to meaningful, it really needs to be tied to a goal. In many cases, why do people advertise on social media? Why? They want to make something, right? They want to sell something. So if you can measure that, how well that ad brought purchase, that becomes meaningful. And we're going to talk about that. And Michael talked a lot about system 0, system 1, system 2, so I might go a little quicker, but we consider system 0, and Michael came up with the term, it's really the foundation, perception, to get good system 1 and system 2 insights. If the perception is in a natural environment where people don't even know it's being tested, you're going to have much better results on your system 1 and system 2. And that's the beauty of our technology. One of the pieces that we do, I'm going to focus on this part, really with social media and e-commerce. Now we talk about change. This is a snapshot from 20 years ago where AOL owned the internet. As you can see, they were the dominant, and second was Protégé. I'm sure everyone knows who Protégé is. And then CompuServe. This is 20 years ago. And as you can see, what's happened over 20 years, we're moving faster and faster and faster. And how many people are baseball fans besides Ben? Okay, I don't know. Does anyone know who this is over here? It is a baseball player. Now, when we talk, you look at here, change can be very dramatic, very fast. That was me 25 years ago. That was me 25 years ago. So when that's change. And it's dramatic, and we have to realize we're living in a world right now where things are moving quick, and who knows what we're all going to look like 20 years from now. So how can we measure in a more practical way what's meaningful? And the beauty of technology today is we can measure things we never even imagined before. I want to share a few things about attention. So some of the hierarchies in attention, motion. We talked about emotion. It's a great way to get attention. Doesn't necessarily mean it's meaningful, but it does. Like if you look at this one up here at the top, you got some motion there. You have motion down here. You got Nemo down here. And they're creative. And what happens a lot of times in our business is people win awards for their ads, but they didn't sell anything. So you can win the awards, you can put it on your wall, it's great. But bottom line is brands want results. And typically results are on the ROI. These are some ads. And we have our team from Berlin. So we have the Volkswagen ad. Novelty and puzzles are good, but they can't be too complicated or people will get frustrated. So these are some examples of Jeep, Volkswagen, and CNN ads. And then we get to faces. If I'm like this, am I happy or sad? Happy. Am I like this? If I'm like this, you don't know. When you don't know, you spend more time. If Mona Lisa was smiling or sad, it wouldn't be the same. People look at that and wonder, what's the emotion? People will spend more time on a face when there's an ambiguous. Our mind is constantly processing everything. And we can identify things. It doesn't mean it's meaningful. It just means there's more time. And the pop-out paradigm is also a great way to get attention. You see it in a lot of different ads. You just can't do too many or then it's not popping out. And then some novelty is also good, but again, it can't be too complicated. These are examples of ads that get attention. How meaningful they are, how does, what are you using to do meaningful? They may win awards, but they aren't necessarily meaningful. Now, these are two ads. These are real ads where doctors are promoting cigarettes. Obviously, this is not a new ad, but at the time when these came out, they were meaningful. You had a doctor who's considered a respected person telling you that these Luckies, they're less irritating. And Coca-Cola, it relieves mental and physical exhaustion and it's good for headaches. Why? It had cocaine in it. That's Coca-Cola had cocaine when it first came out. And that's, I don't know if it was called the real, maybe that's what. 2 if you were really lucky. But the point, why am I showing this? These are ads that got attention and they may have been meaningful. They may have helped sell, but the reality is today, it's totally different. I mean, you look at the word green. 25 years ago, green was a color. Now it's a movement. And so we're seeing meaningful can change based on what's going on in our culture, in our world. So now we're going to talk about meaningful attention, adding interest. There's a book that was written in 1947 by Percy Whiting. It's the book that the Dale Carnegie course uses in their sales course. They still use it today. And if anyone really wants to read an amazing book, it's called The 5 Great Rules of Selling. And the first rule is attention. You have to have attention. If you don't have attention, nothing happens. But if you only have attention, not much more is going to happen. Then comes interest. You have to get interest. And then you have to, attention, interest, conviction. You have to convince people that what you're communicating is real. Then you build desire, and then you hit your goal. And every transaction goes through that. Some of them start in the 3rd or 4th or 5th. But attention is only step 1. Michael talked about, and also Philip talked about eye tracking. We do this in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but there will be some exciting news coming out on mobile eye tracking soon. And Philip went through this. I didn't see any of the presentations, so I'll be skipping some slides that we're already going over so we can get to, now we're talking about social media. When we get to meaningful attention, getting attention, step 1. Interest is step 2. And we have a technology, it's called Live in Context, where we are able to pull off the API, live content, and inject ads into typically, if it's on mobile or desktop, 3rd or 4th position, and we have people browse. And when they browse, they have no idea what's being tested. And that is a powerful, powerful thing because you're getting behavioral metrics, 20, we keep, depending on what platform it is. We started on social media, mainly because that's where all the dollars were going. And if you look at what happened in the last even 4 or 5 years, there's been a huge shift in the social media market. But, if you look at TikTok, I mentioned this earlier, 6 years ago, TikTok was the sound on the clock. Now it's like the fastest growing social media site. You look at Amazon. Amazon is getting a huge chunk of the digital ad business. And if you look here, it's changing. The digital ad, now we're talking about ads, not e-commerce now. If you look at 2015, Amazon was almost a non-event, and Meta, Facebook, and Google, Instagram, YouTube were almost 80% of the ad business. This is 2015. We go to 2022, and they're barely 30%. It's changing. I think earlier we heard about the platforms are different. The ads are different. And so we're seeing a real shift in a whole this is digital ad again, even though you see Amazon here, you see Walmart, you see Instacart. This is ads, not e-commerce we're talking about here. And if you look at what the fastest growing ones, you look at Instacart and Walmart, their growth this is again, we're not talking e-commerce, this is ads. So what we're realizing is people, the consumers, are realizing that having ads on these e-commerce sites are meaningful. And one of the things that we're able to do is test it in this live environment where consumers don't know what's being tested. And I'll show you an example of that. I just want to first, we have a lot of people who do know it, but the way we work is we work through panel companies, and people pick who they want to have go through the experiment, the test, the survey. They get it on their phone, their laptop, their tablet, and they'll have some screening questions to make sure they qualify. And then they'll say, please take a look at Facebook, look at the pages you would naturally. After 90 seconds, the survey will continue. Now, they obviously know that this is a survey, but they just don't know what's being tested. And that's the beauty of this. And so there's no download, there's no app. We pull off the API, the live content, and inject the ad in the third position. And we're going to measure, if it's a video ad, how many people saw 10%, 25, 50, 75, 100% of the ad? How many people clicked on it? Facebook, did they turn on the sound? When did they do it? For YouTube, did they skip it? When did they skip it? Any behavior that can be measured. And now, so what are we really measuring? Attention is how long is it in screen, especially on a phone, it pretty much takes it all up. But when they interact with it, now we're going to interest. You wouldn't click on it if you weren't interested. You wouldn't turn the sound on. And then you can measure how much. And also the, there we go. This is a snapshot of some of the metrics. So you can see we're ad visibility, duration, average, cursor hover if it's on desktop. Did they click on it? What percent saw the video? And then if you look on the left here, you'll see like this was a simple test, a 60-second ad on YouTube and Facebook. So you see that more people watched 75% to 100% of the ad than watched it on YouTube versus Facebook. So you really get behavioral metrics to understand not just was it in screen, but how much engagement was done, what kind of interest was done. This is very, very powerful. I usually, when I present, talk a lot about I-Square and our history, and started in 1990 in Berlin. And I took the slides out because I think most of the people either seen our presentation. But what's very, I think, very kudos to Michael and our company is that there's a grit report that comes out of innovative companies, and the top 50 they list, and 8 of the top 10 use our live in context, which says a lot about the value of what we're bringing to people. Also, if you look on this top on the left, you can see where people drop off, how much of the ad did they see, and it helps you understand, are we doing long ads and no one's ever looking at them? So then we realized we can do this on eCom. And if you looked at the last 3.5 years, the eCom world has changed dramatically. I live in Brooklyn. We really didn't have to leave our house to get anything. And I don't know about where everyone else lives, but e-commerce grew much faster than it would if there weren't lockdowns all over the world. So we have this retail media pre-testing, very similar technology. We pull off the API, the content, and we control, it's like a sandbox. We can control everything. And again, take into Amazon, search for headphones, the category it's being tested, the search result page comes up, and we inject the test into the third or fourth position. Again, the consumer has no idea what's being tested. So we're going to know How much time was it on the search results page? And that's attention. Did they click on it and go to product detail page? That's interest. But we asked them, if you see on the left, put something in the cart. We measure purchase. So we don't have them go through the whole purchase, but we have them put something in the cart. So we do this on e-commerce in multiple countries. I'll have a list of all the different countries that we do this in the e-commerce sites. And then we came up with the idea. Someone mentioned earlier, why do we have ads on social media? People want to sell something. So we thought, add to cart. We came up with that. Now I have to say, when I first came up with it, because the company's in Germany, they don't have add to cart. They have add to basket, is it? Or it's add to something. And so I said add to cart. And I'm like, no, it's add to store. So it took a little while, but it's add to cart, because in America it's cart. And but this is a phenomenal tool that many people are using to understand the value of their ads, because they'll do a test. They'll go through the social media section, then take them to the e-commerce, and then they'll do another cell where there's no ad on the social media, then go to the e-commerce and see what kind of lift did that ad bring to attention, in screen, interest, clicking, going to product detail page, and cart, which is the bottom line is they want to sell something. So we have full control over the page. Let's say, for example, this was the company was doing the test. We can, if you want to, you can put a competitor next to you. We can control all this. We pretty much can, anything that can be moved around. It's like a big sandbox that we can play in. You can test new products before they roll out. You can do A/B testing of a new package versus an old. You can test pricing. You can test, and I'm saying Amazon because they're the biggest. Amazon choice. Is it worth paying for that? So you do one with it, one without. The ads on Amazon. You do one with an ad, one without the ad. Is it bringing value? They don't necessarily have to click on the ad on Amazon for it to work. The ad could be there and they could put more in the cart, but you're going to know that instead of guessing. You can test anywhere and anybody. And we also, the new products in the search result page, you can change the tiles, where you have the carousel, where people have multiple images. A lot of times there's a video. We can tell which one did they spend time on, which one did they click on. And what we've seen is, it's very interesting that the first image and the last image get more interaction than the ones in the middle, which is an interesting, the ads on the search result page, the gallery, and A+ content. As I showed you, Amazon is a very large ad platform now. So now you can test the ads before you spend money on them. So again, just to kind of recap, these are questions that everyone asks in surveys. Which brand were you aware of? Which brand would you consider? Which brand would you buy? So instead of asking them what they'll do, which most of us cannot always articulate exactly what we're going to do, we just measure what they're going to do. And we find that you measure what they do. And again, the key is it's an environment where they don't know what's being tested. That's the beauty of this. It's not like, what do you think of this product? They're just going to go shopping. And then we do follow up with a survey, but we find that the behavioral metrics, especially into the cart, is really the key to becoming meaningful. That's what we're talking about, meaningful attention. We have Helen in the back. I told you I had to put this up. We presented this at Quirks before Oliver came into the world. Yeah, right. That was the first, I think, event where you could actually go to a real event. And thank you. We did a really nice presentation on multiple ads and multiple platforms, and then going to Amazon. And so this is an example ad on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Then after they get exposed to it, and again, they don't know what's being tested on the social media also, then we have them type in the category. After you type in the category, put something in the cart and go to a survey. And this is what it looks like. You have the screener questions. What do you think? They worked before, right? Okay. Okay, it's good. Well, is it going? So you have a screening questions to make sure they qualify. Then they'll be taken to Facebook. Look at you, and the time on Facebook is pretty much based on how long the ad is and how long you want them to scroll. It'd be minutes. We tested ads on social media that were 4 minutes long, which is like an infomercial, which no one actually watched the whole 4 minutes, but they wanted to test it. So we tested that. Typically, we're doing 15, 30, 6 seconds. And so it can be 45 seconds, 90, it can be as long as you want. And the video is a little slow. So this is actually, bless you, not working? Okay, we'll keep going. All right, looked like it was. I'll be happy to, here we go. Just slow. And also, we talked about social media and e-commerce. We now have over 60 other URLs, and we're constantly adding. We can test on not everything, but almost everything. So they'll scroll. They have no idea it's being tested. And I stopped at the I square, so you can see that's where we injected it. And then after the time, we'll take them to the e-commerce site and type in headphones and put something in the cart. And again, this whole conference is about meaningful attention. In our business, the most meaningful thing for our brands is they want to make more money. They want to sell more product. They want to also keep their image. They want to make sure they're in the right place. But most of the time, they want ROI. And I think what we're talking about now in the world we live in today with what's going on in the world, sales are really important. So you can see they're scrolling. They can click on anything they want. You can put whoever you want next to them. The beauty of this is it's in an environment, we have live content, and they don't know what's being tested, which is as real as you're going to get. And then they follow up with the survey once they put something in the cart. So what do we answer? Some of the questions. And also you don't have to have them type in the category. You can say, buy shampoo, and see how they search. Are they using the menu? Are they using the search bar? So do new products work? Can we increase conversion rate? How do you drive category growth? Do paid placements increase sales? Instead of guessing and spending the money on it, you can test it first. Hero images work. What's the optimal set on the gallery? And the bottom line is, what's ROI? So this is a very simple, high level. You have new package and current package. We use the IAB standard where 50% of the ad is in screen for at least a second. So it was very close. And if they scroll by it too quick, less than a second, it's not going to register. But a significant more people clicked on the new package, which is a good indicator. But most importantly, almost double will put it in the cart. That's meaningful. When all said and done, we try. One thing's I'm a big believer in. It's called the KISS formula. Keep it short and sweet. And there are other people who use different words for those, but keeping things short and sweet. And the goal is to help our clients win in the marketplace. And when we can show something like this in this environment, it makes it very easy to make a decision. Which one are you going to go with? This is an example where add to cart. We had the first experience, the control was no ad on social media. They saw social media with no ads, and they went to type in the category and put something in the cart. We had 4 different ads. So when you look here, it makes it really easy for brands to make decisions. I've been in this business for a while, and a lot of times decisions are made by the senior person on a gut feeling. That used to be very common. Now, with the data and the technology we have, we let the numbers speak for themselves. It's very simple. 33% of the people who saw the third ad put it in the cart compared to the others, and 10% clicked on the search results page image and went to the product detail page. So, obviously, a lot of people just bought it from the search results page also. And then the questions they're typical questions we answer at the end. So this is a tremendous tool to not just what is attention, what's driving, what's meaningful, what's driving business. And so just kind of recap, share a purchase, time to purchase. Basically, any behavior at all is measured. And the bottom line really is the most important factor is share a purchase. These are the different e-commerce platforms that we now have built, and we'll build more based on clients coming to us and say, we want to sell here. And these are different countries we're doing it in. And you'll see some are mobile only, some are mobile desktop. And again, this is constantly being added to. And this will be available. And we talked about currency before. We see clients right now that see this as a great way to measure the value of their ads. And whether that's a currency in the whole industry or currency for them, the fact that they keep doing it says a lot. So what are the key takeaways? Begin with the end in mind. We're talking about meaningful attention. You really want to start, what's the goal? You know, what is the goal? And it was brought up earlier, just because something works on Facebook doesn't mean that ad's going to work on TikTok or it's going to work on Instagram. That's why you test all the platforms are different and how people interact with them. So you begin with the end in mind and have a goal. And I believe you reverse engineer. What is the goal of the study? What are we trying to do? What's the problem we have? And then you reverse engineer it and work backwards to get to that. You focus on the goal and then you tie the meaning of what we're trying to achieve to the goal. It sounds simple. Now, I know in this industry today, I had my friend John mentioned that some people suffer from MAD, meaningful attention disorder. And because this whole industry is really working hard to try about attention, we just think it's really important to go above that and go not just attention, but meaningful. And meaningful is always tied to what the goal is. We had a lot of talks about other things with in the psychology and in the culture. I'm focusing more on the business because I work with the companies and their goal is always, how can I sell more? How can I get data that's going to help me do more business? Thank you very much. And any questions, be happy to answer.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for Jeff?
Yes.
Out loud. Including polling data and survey data is very, very questionable. This technology could be applied to polling data and survey data. In other words, the person doesn't know that they're taking a poll. That's why they're so biased. You know, they think it, whatever. If they're actually taking a poll, they don't know it, or they're being surveyed and they don't know it. There could be.
That's interesting. I think we should examine that because that could be a whole new opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question that gets back to something we discussed earlier, that presented earlier, the application of optimizing creative versus optimizing platform and context. So if I understand you correctly, this methodology can be both. Would it be revealing trade secrets if you could talk about, well, in your application, in your business, to what extent do your clients focus on improving creative, improving context, or using the methodology to do both?
We do have people do both, because you talked about for a snapshot, and maybe all the details of the 3 different platforms, multiple ads, and you learn. We can get a case study together that we actually have, where it shows the data on how this is helping understand the creative, and this is helping understand the platform and the companies.
Because we had thought of been thinking about this as a dichotomy, but listening to you, I sort of feel that, you know, the right way, the best way is to use this to do both.
Exactly.
To improve creative for this platform, improve creative for that, and when you're done with all that, maybe you would even want to look at context on this platform. Does it work best in connection with travel, or does it work best in connection with wellness? So
You're right.
Of course, attention could be the bridge to break down the silos of creative and media.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You should write an article about that. No, this is really great. Thank you.
The other thing, just to follow on what Horst was talking about earlier, and sort of how attention is so qualitative. right? And how it's, a little bit more of a, how do we figure out how to better understand it, how to define it. But what I think Admin Part really brings to the table is a quantitative measure. And that's what hadn't existed before for attention until we all of a sudden drove people to say, are they purchasing? Are they taking action? And being able to see that piece is, I think, what sort of led the currency conversation and sort of to this being able to quantify what was perhaps a more qualitative discussion.
On a related note, we're not always trying to, with every piece of comms we do, drive you directly to the cart. So you're trying to do something else over PayPal. How do we measure that intermediate proxy? Because the ultimate end goal is sales and ROI, but sometimes, depending on what the objective is, each piece of creative is, you need to find ways to measure that as an outcome.
That's why you have to know the goal ahead of time.
Exactly the goal.
That's the key. Start with the beginning and the end in mind.
Always good advice.
Exactly. And that's on the sleep studies.
From our history, this is growing in our partnership, that we found a powerful wheelhouse with CPG companies because they lack sales data that often don't come for several months. And the thing about attention is it has a strong relationship with sales. And it can be used for optimization at a very, very early stage. We just don't think it, otherwise the data are rearview mirror, they're nice to have to validate. It might support best practices, but don't give you in the moment. And I'm wondering if you see that. We see that really strongly where we come from the visual attention measurement. I'm wondering if you've seen that similar
We don't
value
Yeah.
adoption.
When people are doing this test and then making decisions, not reading sales data months later. And the only way we know that they like it is if you do it. And not everyone gives you sales data. As you know.
So, this might be a follow-up, but you went from attention to interest. You have correlation between interest and purchase. Interest in sales.
Interest in sales. Do we have that now? No, but I think we have the data to actually put that together. I like that. We do. Our interest is the behavior. If they see if something's in screen, that's attention. But if they interact with it, that's interest. And then the next step is putting it in part. But if we have the data, we just need to put together and that's really a great combination.
Let me add to that. I mean, it would actually be sort of very interesting to show, to basically prove your home point, what is the correlation between attention alone and outcome? And what is the relationship between attention plus interest and outcome? And presumably the result will show that the correlation is higher if you add the element of interest, which would be a validation of a whole measurement approach, right? Does that make sense, Max?
Yeah, actually, so in our method, which we're putting inside the iceberg environment, there's attention, and then a layer on top of the attention are the facial reactions and the engagements that happen during the positive engagements. If you take all the facial coding taxonomy and bundle it up into positive or negative engagements, we've found extremely high correlation with a post-exposure survey to an ad on the interestingness of that commercial message.
There you go.
The survey action.
So I would follow up this coming back. So you're saying you're basically looking at specific facial reactions and then can correlate that to sale.
Yeah.
So have you looked at inducing specific facial reactions? And then if you induced a facial reaction, does it also produce the same metrics in sales?
Yeah, so one of the case studies I showed earlier with Mars, they combine, this is their method for how they do their business. We're building a system off our data, which was attention, and then layered on top of that were smiles. And that's the formula. that predicts the sales from the creative. Because I think, of course, someone said earlier, maybe it was, forget who, of course, it was you, you said in a TV environment where everything was TV, you only looked at the creative, that was the big variable. With Mars, for example, I'm not going to speak for them, but they're a big reach play. There's reach everywhere. So the creative becomes for them is a particularly important variable. But that is without going into their special sauce of what they do with our raw data. It is attention with the smile layered on, which is what they really look for. Which drives the higher predictors for their sales.
And our thought is when people are testing in an environment where they don't know what's being tested, and we're asked to put something in the cart, that is a very good indicator of what's going to happen in the real world. That's their experience of our client. Any other questions? Thank you all very much.
Let's give Jeff a round of applause. Thank you, Jeff, so much for that.